Hi there. I have just installed the latest version of the Staff Portal app on my Android phone. It's still a pre-release, so obviously it's got some testing to be done and some work to still be looked at. But it's here on the screen. My first impression is that I've got an icon that says New South Wales Government, and to me that's a bit confusing because there are all sorts of other things that I might get from New South Wales Government. Like I've got one here called Service. It's just here called Service New South Wales, which is where I've got my driver's license, my digital driver's license, and so on. It's called Service New South Wales, so to me it makes sense that that this icon be something a little bit more education-y. It doesn't really, I'll just move it up here so you can read what it says. It says Staff Portal underneath it, that's fine, but it's not a staff portal for the New South Wales Government, it's a staff portal for the Department of Education. My thoughts, anyway. Let's go in there and see what happens. So the first thing I'm presented with, because I've already set it up, is a screen that says you can log in, but instead of logging in with my username and password, it's got a really convenient way by simply touching the biometric, the fingerprint, and it automatically logged me straight in. The first screen that I'm presented with is my SchoolBiz notifications. Now, I've got a problem with the SchoolBiz notifications because to me the latest one, the newest one, should be at the top, but it's all sort of mashed around because what I can see is that this one is the latest one, but it's in the third position. I don't know why. This was 16 days ago, this was 23 days ago, this was 9 days ago. So it really should be these two at the top, followed by those two. I'm not sure why they're in the wrong order, but that's just how they are. I'll have a look at SchoolBiz a little bit more as I go through each of these buttons in the order they're presented here. So that's my first thing that I noticed about the notifications. If I go to, so that was notifications, if I go to Essentials, these are my Essentials, so they're as I've created them in the Staff Portal on the web page in my browser. There's a couple of strange things that have appeared, so you can see that this these two icons here are out of alignment with all the rest of them. I'm not sure why that is, but that needs to be fixed, obviously. It could be because the word application is really long, I don't know, but it's certainly knocked them out of alignment, which is a bit strange. And beyond that, the other thing that I've got is I've got a custom icon here for News Limited. So it was a icon that I added to my Essentials for just to see what the latest news is, and there is an icon on my screen. If I go to my Staff Portal very quickly, maybe not that one, but in this one. So if I jump across to my Staff Portal, it's here. So this is what the icon should look like for News Limited, but for some reason it hasn't come across onto the Android app. I can still press that area and it will launch as a sort of a browser inside the portal. So I've got an exit button at the top, which I assume means go back to the portal. So I don't know if exit is the right word, maybe back is a better word, but I don't know. That's just me again. But I can go and browse this news website. I can hit the back button down the bottom, which is the normal Android back button, and it will navigate me as normal. And I can hit back again, and it will take me back to the portal, but you'll notice it still has the exit up there. So that to me is a bit of a glitch as well, because if I've hit the back button using the Android navigation, it should get rid of that exit button when I return to the portal. So I have to tap that exit button at the top to get rid of that, and it will then refresh that screen. Those two icons are still out of alignment, as you can see, and that other icon is missing. So I won't go through all of these buttons, but you'll notice that what happened is that because I used that news limited one, news.com.au, it's stuck it up the top here under frequently used. So as I go and use different things, so if I go to EdBuy, for example, it will take me into EdBuy, and it will let me search for a product. an Apple product, for example. So I can browse through those sorts of things, go into the catalog, and click on that, and it loads the catalog, and I can go and have a look at the different products that are in there. It's not a great presentation, but that's more of an EdBuy problem than a staff portal problem. If I hit the back button using the Android back, so I can go back through there, or if I hit the exit button, I can go straight back from whatever page. But what it's now done is it's put EdBuy into frequently used. So as you use ones that are regularly used from your My Essentials, they'll appear at the top, which could be a useful thing, a handy thing for finding things, saving you scrolling through that. So generally My Essentials doesn't look too bad. There's a magnifying glass up here. I'm not sure what it does. I guess you've got to search for if you've got a lot of essentials and you want to go straight to something, you can get straight to it by typing SMU. There you go. So that seems to work okay. Close out of that and get rid of the keyboard. Okay, so that is My Essentials. Directory is an interesting one. To me, it's confusing why I have a directory, staff directory button down the bottom, which obviously tells me that I want to search, but it doesn't give me an option to search. This find contact details for DOE staff doesn't do anything if I touch it. But at the top, again, there's a magnifying glass, and when I tap on it, that's when it brings this up. So maybe it would make sense if when I tap the staff directory button down the bottom, this one down the bottom, that it would bring up that first name, last name automatically. And it looks like I can search for just the first name and search, and it'll go and find a whole bunch of Peters. Maybe it'll tell me there's too many of Peters. Let's find out. No, it's gone and given me, look, lots and lots of Peters. That's really great. I've got a back button up here, which is part of that screen, and it remembers the recent searches again. So that's a handy little tool. But I think whenever you're at this main staff directory screen, the search box should be there. The search dialog should be on the screen. It's strange that I have to hit the magnifying glass twice in order to bring it up. So I've got to go to the directory first. It doesn't give me the option to see the directory until I hit the search button, the magnifying glass. So that's pretty nice. I'm not sure why my name is in the middle of the screen there. I don't know if that's part of the app or if that's something Android is doing, but it obviously lets me hit that and I can search for myself, and there I am. And it gives me all the details, which is nice, and I can actually dial straight from my phone in that results screen. And I'm guessing this will take me to Google Maps, which it does, and it actually shows me how to get there from where I am. So that's pretty cool. I won't 30 minutes away, it tells me. That's pretty cool. So that's generally good. I'd like to see the search window appear when you hit that button. This should be on the screen there, rather than having to search again. Again, just me. Okay, School Biz. We're up to School Biz. And this is where it shows me what it thinks is the latest. And it thinks the latest is week 8, term 3, but we know the latest is not week 8, term 3. If we go back to the notification screen, this strange order that is on the screen makes no sense to me, but it thinks that this is the latest one. The other thing that's very strange here on these notifications, they all say read the latest issue, read the latest. They can't all be the latest issue, so I don't know where this text comes from or if it's adjustable, but it would be good to have something, maybe not even have that at all. There's no need for it, because this tells you that it's School Biz term 3, week 7, that date. It's week 6, week 9, week 8. Just get them in order is what I'd suggest. Let's go back to School Biz. So it says that this is the latest, but if I go to Archives, I can go and have a look at 2020, term 3, and there's all of the different archives for term 3. That's pretty nice. But latest is definitely not showing me the latest version, because the latest version is week 9. And saved is a nice little feature because what it does, I found this, if you go into, say, staff information and you say data breach preparedness training is the article that I'm interested in. This is this is something that I really need to do, even though I have done it. But I can hit this little flag thing up the top, and that marks it as saved. And then what you can do is you can go back to your schoolbiz, and you can hit saved at the top right, and there's that article. So you can very quickly grab articles out and put them into the saved area. And when you finish with them, you can simply swipe across and hit the delete button, or you can even share it with other people, I assume by email. I haven't tested that. So Schoolbiz doesn't look too bad at all. There's all the past reviews. Now, one thing I did notice in here, I don't know if they fixed it in this very latest version, but there is something very strange in here. Let me show you what it is. If you go to critical reading, and here is an article that's in critical reading, and I can read it, and it's got a whole lot of information, and at the very bottom of the screen it says registration closes on 1 January 2015. I don't know what that means. So we've got to go back here, back again. Let's go into any other article. Here's curriculum. There's ministers something or other, Christmas card competition, and how to enter. Registration closes 1st of January 2015. I have no idea. Indigenous Literacy Day. Oh, this looks good. Event recording. Registration closes 1st of January 2015. So you can go back to any article, 2017, Term 3, Week 9, and you can look at the archives. It's digging it up at the moment, and it's going to find for me. Come on. I know it was a long time ago. You can do it. Come on. Let's go. I'm going to give up on this very soon. There we go. And we can go into program updates because it's something important. 2017 NAIDOC week. We can read all about it, and we'll go all the way to the bottom. Registration closes 1st of January 2015. So this is obviously something that's being inserted by the app for some reason or other, and it's going into every single article on Schoolbiz. Makes no sense. So somebody can fix that. So that's Schoolbiz. I think that's a really nice representation of getting information and finding things. What I don't know that you can do is a search. It'd be lovely to be able to search through all of the different Schoolbizes to find whatever you're looking for, and it gives you the results of that search, because I can't see that there is a way of doing that. The other thing that's on this screen up here is filters. And that allows you to say whether you just want to see stuff for principals or executive or teachers or admin, what type of school you are. So you can filter out the stuff that maybe doesn't apply to you. But the interesting thing down the bottom in these filters is that regardless of the fact that we've got 6, I think, school regions, only 3 are showing. I don't know why. There should be 6 checkboxes or 6 sliders there that you can select which region you're in, because if you're in rural south there is no way of selecting that. So again, that is something that needs to be fixed. Beyond that, let's go into settings. So settings I haven't really had a look at, but this is where the security is set for your Face ID. I didn't test Face ID, I only tested Touch ID because I don't think Face ID is very secure, because you can hold up a picture to unlock things, and that's not just a staff portal thing, that's a Android and iPhone thing. Theme, I prefer to have it on dark, so it's a good idea to select that, but it works quite nicely as a toggle. And I'm not going to look at the update profile and change DOE password, because I think that'll ultimately get sorted out. I'm not going to test whether that works or not for me. But what I did find needs fixing, nobody ever reads this stuff, but the English language that's in this About section is not well written. I'm happy to help in fixing it if you want me to fix it, but somebody will need to send me this as a text file so that I can clean it up. That first paragraph is 1 sentence. It just makes it so difficult to understand. And this second big long paragraph is only 3 sentences. So it's not really greatly sorted out. Under Contact Us, For urgent inquiries during business hours, you can call that number. So it's obviously not an urgent inquiry if it's only during business hours. But non-urgent queries or feedback with a K going down to the next line, you probably want to just put a line break before the or. So non-urgent queries, line break, or feedback. Please go back and select feedback on the previous screen to send an email to the dedicated mailbox. Again, this language could be cleaned up a little bit, but it tells you go back and select feedback. So let's go and do that. So we've gone back and feedback is down the bottom here. So even though contact us should give you an option to contact them, it doesn't, because you've got to go back to feedback. And when you go to feedback, then I get this, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Share Me, WhatsApp, Outlook. Like it's a share screen that's appearing, not a feedback form or a feedback email address or something like that. So you probably need to fix feedback up. And that, I think, is about everything. Contact us. Privacy is the department's privacy statement. That's cool. That seems to work. But what that did then was chucked me in the browser, in my browser. And the confusing thing about that is that if I've got other screens in that browser going back, we'll go back to the previous one I was at, and that's what just happened there. Whereas when I went to news.com.au, it launched within the app, and I hit the exit button to get out of that. I don't know whether you want to have consistency or in that situation. Terms and conditions. Well, here they've actually embedded the terms and conditions into the thing rather than linking out to a separate page. I'm not going to read all that. There's a lot of text in there, and I don't think anyone else is going to read it either, but I understand why it needs to be there. Log out, I'm not going to do that. But that's a good little rundown of what the current test version of the Staff app for Android looks like. I'm happy that most things work extremely nicely, but there's still a little bit of work to do, and I'm happy to help out in any way that I can. So hopefully you got something good out of that. See you next time.